to the social network. I'm Rishika Barua. Top story tonight. 1 year into the farmer protest, we'll introduce you to the people who run the farmer IT cells. From the son of a farm labourer to an IT professional who works in Australia and a student photographer. They'll join us in a moment from now. Also on the show tonight, the National Crime Records Bureau data, the NCRB data, which is the government's official data, has shown an over 600% rise in cases of online child sexual abuse. What does this mean? We'll break it down for you. But first, let's take a look at the 1 year of the farm protest gone by. Bhavjeet Singh, who runs Tractor to Twitter, a page with over 56,000 followers in just 1 year, joins us on the broadcast. He's on a work from home currently, living in Jartoli village, but he works in Australia. Thanks very much for being with us. We also have Jaskaran Singh. He's a freelance photographer associated with the Bharatiya Kisan Union Ekta Ugrahan. He's finished his education and volunteered to click photographs and document the farmer agitation over this year. International media have used a lot of his pictures through this year. Harinder Happy, a media coordinator of the Sanyukt Kisan Morcha. He handles the Kisan Ekta Morcha's Twitter page and the Sanyukt Kisan Morcha's WhatsApp groups. He also writes press notes in 3 languages, is with us. Thank you all very much for joining us on NDTV. I have to begin by asking you, Bhavjeet, your page, Tractor to Twitter, how did it come about? And it still continues to survive. It was taken down twice in this 1 year.
Yes, so there were multiple attacks on Tractor to Twitter, not just on Tractor to Twitter, but on a lot of other handles which spread the cause, which spread the voices. Anyway, so it started in November last year. So when the agitation was when the farmers started moving towards Delhi, and around the same time, around 25th and 26th November, at the same time, the Godi media, the section of media we generally call, so they unleashed the vicious attack. They just started calling the farmers the terrorists, the Khalistanis, and whatnot. And then we thought that there is no hope from the mainstream media, from that section of the Godi media, so we should be doing something. So I, along with another members of the team, so we came up with a plan that at least we should encourage the youngsters who are supporting this agitation, who are supporting the farmers, who are from the farming families. We should do something. We should start doing something. So that's how it came into existence. So Tractor to Twitter. So those who are associated with Tractor,
right? Like
Tractor is the symbol of farming. So from Tractor to Twitter. So that's how it all came.
Yes, and well, you've got over 50,000 followers in just a year, so that's no ordinary feat as well. Jaskaran Singh is also with us. He's a freelance photographer. Jaskaran, your pictures speak 1,000 words. आपके photographs international media ने use किए हैं. आप मुझे बता रहे थे कि पहली बारी जब आप किसान आंदोलन में जुड़े तो लिटरली घर से भाग के गए थे.
Yes. So it was like कि सारे मतलब डरे हुए थे घर वाले ना, and all like family and relatives कि वहाँ पे मतलब ऐसे कर रहे हैं, मतलब पुलिस वगैरह बम वगैरह फेंक रही है या whatever it was going a violence kind of thing. So by the like police and all. So वैसे ही घर वाले डरे थे. So I was like कि मैंने अपना रोल प्ले करना है ना, and मैं एक ही मेरे पास रास्ता था, that was through my art. So मैं वहाँ पे पहुंचा and मैंने अपनी आर्ट से रोल प्ले किया.
All right. And what's your, what's your favorite moment? You've documented this, you've made photos, you've got videos. What's your defining moment, Jaskaran?
It was, I think, my favorite was it was an unfortunate moment basically. It was on like 26th of November when there was a Jaggi Baba जिसको मतलब बहुत बुरी तरह से मारा गया था. So that was why unfortunate moment. But it was like कि उसको कोई cover नहीं कर रहा था. तो उसको वो जो सच दिखाना था, it was like my काफी मतलब वो shot आगे गया and as a justice के लिए वो shot काफी आगे गया था.
You know, your pictures, like I said, speak 1,000 words, and we've, courtesy, you put out some of your images, your work in the last 1 year, and those pictures really speak to you. You can actually feel the emotion through those very powerful pictures. I want to go now to Harinder Happy joining us. I want to ask you, Harinder, how important, has your work been handling Twitter pages, WhatsApp accounts? Because there has been a lot of misinformation in the last 1 year about farmer agitation, a lot of accusations against the farmers of being Khalistani supporters, of trying to destabilize peace and security in Delhi. How have you countered that narrative?
See, of course, our motive of launching this IT cell and then thereafter working hard for this was only that we have to counter the narrative of Godi media or trolls, and also to spread ideas of the well-being of farmer protest, giving the message of high spirit of the farmer protest. Because like the other, not just about the Godi media, we need to go into the villages of India, and also this perspective of global village. Then we have to move towards the whole diaspora. Every person who believes in democracy. Like we really thought about it that our message should reach to all the people. So about that launching this IT cell, it was the one factor. About the press releases and other things, we really don't care about the people who are saying us Khalistani, Maoist or whatever, because we are fighting for our right cause, and we know our better that we are fighting for right cause. But there are some people who are we can say they organically they are not thinking about this movement is Khalistani, is Maoist. They are anyhow the propaganda is being spread by BJP IT cell. So we are reaching to a very limited crowd. We are not concerned about the BJP IT cell. And as we saw latest report of BBC that parody accounts were made on the 6th. So we are not that much concerned about the BJP IT cell.
But you all have all played, you all have all played a very important role in giving the farmers a voice, and I think that is been one of your biggest achievements. So very important role that you played in the agitation. But Bhavjit, what now? What happens to Tractor to Twitter? What happens to all of you who've sort of put your lives on hold in a certain sense for this 1 year? What next?
See, we didn't. I mean, it was very organic idea, so we didn't hope that we will have 50,000 plus organic audiences, right? So we are evolving alongside the protest, and now I think this has become one of the most followed handles when it comes to get the news about the farmers. And alongside, we also try to raise the awareness about the farming crisis. Let's say the stubble burning. The farmers are always blamed for the pollution. So we just try to share the factors, the details. At the same time, why MSP is needed. So down the line, the fight is not over yet, because we always say that after these laws are repealed, we are just back to the square one. So these were the additional shackles, right?
I think the battle is not over yet, and I'd like to end this conversation on that note. Thank you all very much for joining us on NDTV.
Thank you, Rishika.
Well, on to the other top story we're tracking tonight. There's been a steep rise in cases of online child sexual abuse globally during the COVID-19 pandemic. In India, the National Crime Records Bureau data has shown a 624% rise in cases between 2019 and 2020. Yes, you heard that correctly. It's a 624% rise in cases in just 1 year. Not just that, India is also the largest consumer and creator of child sexual abuse material online. There were over 19 lakh reports in 2020, and this accounts for around 11.7% of global reports. The Cyber Peace Foundation data further shows that it's not just the dark web, but even WhatsApp and Telegram, which are social networking apps that are actually being used to consume and circulate such material. What do we make of this data? Major Vineet Kumar, the Global President of the Cyber Peace Foundation, AP Singh, former CBI Director, Jyoti Mathur, Executive Director of the Kailash Satyarthi Children's Foundation are all with us to shed light onto this very important statistic. Major Kumar, this isn't really a statistic, is it? I mean, over 600% rise is unprecedented. But, you know, from what you've been telling us, this is just the tip of the iceberg.
That's correct, Rishika. In fact, because we are a foundation who's working on the ground, and we have seen a steep rise in the number of crimes. The crime quoted by the NCRB is just, I would say, the reported ones, whereas the majority of the cases that we get is unreported. We have been constantly researching on different platforms. I'd not like to name one or two platforms, but this is across platform. And we find cases of child sexual abuse and exploitation happening on the surface web and also the dark web. Dark web is another place where all of these content is available, and there are predators who are constantly on the rise. The demand for such kind of a content is also on the rise. So it's increasing day by day.
I think you raised a very important point that this is the tip of the iceberg. AP Singh, if I can come to you, you know, the CBI recently conducted several raids. There were 23 cases that were registered, 50 groups, over 5,000 offenders identified. These were pan-India raids that took place. But, you know, from what Major Kumar is saying, we're merely scratching the surface.
Rishika, from what I could make out, is that most of this information came from international channels, and then the CBI took action on them, you know, from Interpol, from Germany. So this is not only a local problem, it is something where you need a lot of international coordination.
Of course.
But to start with, it's welcome that CBI has organized the prevention unit in their own, in the CBI. But all the states need to do this. Every state needs to have a sexual abuse online prevention unit, and they need to be coordinated, you know, and CBI can do that coordinating work. Okay. Now, as you said, that we are the largest producers and users of this content. So we really have to coordinate properly. We have to take cybersecurity experts. We have to take the NGOs into confidence, and all of them together. It can't be only a police problem. It has to be something that has to be tackled at a multi-level. And like for starters, Interpol has a big database of photographs, videos, and you can identify which are the Indian children, and then you can try and find out and locate these people.
As a security expert, Mr. Singh, let me ask you this. Does the end-to-end encryption of several apps like WhatsApp, etc., make it difficult to actually detect the source of this content?
Yes, it does. It does. It is very difficult. Most of these sites are based in, say, CIS countries or in the US, some places where porn is legal. So it is very difficult to track them and stop them from the Indian level. You know, from India, unless you cooperate with international agencies and you are able to, you know, like through Interpol or through the FBI. So a lot of international help is required to close these sites or to prevent this. But at least what is happening in India, you should be able to tackle. Okay. That is, locate child abusers and locate where this content is being made.
All right. Jyoti Mathur, you know, I want to ask you about a very different angle to this story, which is an identification of the problem. How do children fall into the trap? Because remember, in India also we had that infamous boys' locker room case, which was literally a teenage squabble where boys decided to, you know, make public certain private images that a girl had shared with a certain boy. They're simply unaware, even teenagers, they're simply unaware of the consequences of such acts. What needs to be done in order to identify the problem?
See, awareness is one thing that children especially, and these youngsters who are putting their own videos under, whether they want attention or some other, factor pushing them into this area, that needs to be addressed. They need to be told that once a video of such kind goes on internet, even if they, delete it from their side, it remains on the internet for eternity. It is posted across around the world. So the awareness part is very important in a mission mode kind of a way, that aggressive campaigns need to be done by the government. And one more thing is that whoever who are watching these, the users who are looking at these videos, they need to be sent aggressive, messages, deterrence messages, that they are doing something unlawful, and they need to be aware which is wrong, and they need, and this is unlawful in our country. So messages for the users and awareness of the youngsters and the children that what are the consequences of this is very important.
Right. Could you also elaborate, what are the ways? I mean, if you find that there is some content which is unwanted, unwarranted, that you say receive on your WhatsApp or on your social media, what do you do? Do you just walk into your local police station and report it? How does it work? What information can you share with our viewers?
Yes, so there is a cybercrime portal of Ministry of Home.
Right. Okay.
Affairs, on which anybody can, that if you don't want to disclose your identity, you can keep that identity also safe, and you can report the matter to the police directly at the 100 number or at the cybercrime portal. And even on certain, like Facebook, for instance, you can report. There is an option on Facebook and currently that you can report any such thing.
Okay. So there are online portals where you can actually go and register your complaints and report this kind of content, because a lot of times you could unwantedly be receiving content that you didn't necessarily search for or ask for as well. Major Kumar, you wanted to come in?
Yes, Rishika. In fact, I'd like to just add one thing to what Jyoti has said. There is the National Cybercrime Reporting Portal, wherein you can report cases related to CSAM, and you also can report it anonymously. That's also one of the features that has come in. But what we are promoting as a foundation, and after the researches that we have done on different platforms, that there should be a report CSAM button on the platform. For example, tomorrow on any of these kind of OTT platform, like for example WhatsApp, you get some content related to CSAM, you can report directly from the platform itself.
Right.
So this is one feature that should come in, and that would kind of also bring intermediaries into one thing, that intermediaries should report such cases. For example, any CSAM case reported on the platform should be reported to the government authorities immediately.
That's a very important point that you make. Because Jyoti Mathur had also talked about the role of intermediaries. Do you just want to come in there? How can we hold social media platforms responsible? And we'll come to AP Singh about how perhaps the law enforcement agencies and intermediaries need to work in tandem. But Jyoti Mathur, how can we hold intermediaries responsible? How can we hold Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram responsible?
Yeah, so the recent intermediaries guidelines that have released by the government, IT guidelines, specifically talked about the role of intermediaries, and they have to report whenever they see. For example, Apple recently reported that they saw on their cloud a lot of material which was sexually explicit, CSAM material. So they are reporting about it. So in fact, in the POCSO Act, it says very clearly that if anybody receives any CSAM material, they have to report it. So when the Act says it has to report it, it is written in the law. Then in these intermediaries, after coming up these rules, they have to have this, from CyberPeace they're saying that option available for the user to delete it or to report about it, because nobody would really want to go to the police station and report about it.
And even what Major Kumar said, that have a specific button to report CSAM. CSAM, for the benefit of our viewers, is child sexual abuse material that you may be able to find online. But AP Singh, coming back to the point of what more needs to be done. I mean, look at these numbers, and from all of your admissions, what we understand that these numbers are just merely scratching the surface of the problem, because a lot of these cases, actually a majority of these cases actually go unreported.
Yeah, so that's exactly what I was trying to say, that, just one unit is not enough. You need one in every state. You need to train the investigators. Reporting is fine. You will report all these cases, but then what's going to happen after that? There has to be an investigation. There has to be somebody who has to go track these people down, catch them. So you need trained investigators. And there CBI and Interpol can help.
Okay.
Where in giving training. That is very important because, just reporting is not good enough. You need to investigate and catch the perpetrators of these offences.
Okay.
And
I know, Jyoti Mathur, you want to
contempt
come
you can take care of in India.
Right. I know
Just
you want to
one
come in, but
small
very
thing I wanted to
quickly.
mention.
I know you want to come in, but very quickly, Major Kumar, explain also to our viewers why India is the largest creator of this content.
Well, again, according to our researchers, what we found out, and this was one of the things that I wanted to mention, that Ms. Jyoti also spoke about prevention and how awareness is required. This is exactly what we have seen on the ground. People are unaware about the crime. Like, for example, any of these child sexual abuse material, if you download it, just by mere downloading those videos, you come under the POCSO Act. So that's a crime. So that is one thing. The other thing is there are a lot of platforms. In fact, if I start mapping, if I start speaking, probably it will take an hour's time for me to share that there are multiple platforms. Like, for example, there are forums. There are multiple applications that are there on the Android store, for example.
Yes.
And these apps have those group links which can take you to those groups where you get content related to child sexual abuse material. And they are updated on a regular basis.
And you also, you also said that, the problem is that if you create a WhatsApp group that's actually reported, it doesn't take much to just create another group because that database already exists. Jyoti Mathur, I'll give you the last word.
Yeah, so I just have 2 points to say. One is that CBI has done a very good job of, tracking this current, the users who have been, suo motu cognizance of these cases is taken by CBI and the police of such cases which are, earlier known to people. And the second is the issue is of not just the CSAM material, but the victim and the rapist, the person who is raping that child needs to be booked, that needs to be brought under the law.
Well, absolutely. And while
pulling down the material, it is also, catching those perpetrators who are raping children.
All right. Well, I think very important points raised by all of you on what's clearly a very important message that we need to send out. While, we have to hold the investigating agencies and intermediaries responsible for content like this that is being circulated, it is each individual's responsibility as well to report content like this when you do come across it. A 600% rise in online child sexual abuse is indeed unprecedented. Thank you all very much for joining us on The Social Network. That's all the time we have. Up next